Hey everyone, it's Mr. Fisher here again for our final lesson on fractions. In this lesson, we are going to be learning an easy way to think about adding fractions so that we can make a picture in our minds of what the numbers are doing. Let me tell you a story. One day, I was adding fractions with my class, and I asked, what is 1/2 plus 1/2? And somebody shouted out, 1/4. And I asked why, and they said, well, because 2 plus 2 equals 4, so 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1/4. And I said, hey, great math thinking, because, when you look at those numbers, this does seem to make a lot of sense. 2 plus 2 does equal 4. But the trick to understanding fractions, in fact, understanding all of math, is making a picture in our minds of what the numbers are doing or what the numbers mean. And we're going to see why this is not correct in a moment. I've said to my class before that math can feel like a puzzle. When you first open up a big puzzle and you dump out all the pieces into that big messy pile, that's how math can feel sometimes, like a big messy puzzle, and we don't know how all the pieces fit. And sometimes we can feel like we'll never put it all together. We can feel frustrated. I used to feel frustrated a lot when I did math. I had a lot of trouble putting the pieces together, and sometimes it would take me a lot longer than my friends to figure something out, and that made me feel frustrated. But then I realized that there are some things that I could do quicker, and there were some things that took me a little longer, and that was okay. So don't get frustrated if it doesn't make sense right away. That's the great thing about these videos. If you watch them and they don't make sense the first time, you can always watch them again. And each time you do, you'll see a little bit more of the puzzle. And just like with an actual puzzle, as you put those pieces together over time, and we really look at the pieces and how they fit, suddenly it all makes sense. So when we're adding fractions, in a lot of ways, that's what we're doing. We're putting puzzle pieces together. Let's take a moment to look at the pieces we are going to be using. Some of you may recognize this as part of a pool noodle. We use them when we go swimming. Well, I used measuring and cutting to make fractions out of my pool noodles to help show you some different fractions. So let's start with this. This is 1/2. Remember 1/2? We talked about it in our other videos. It means the entire thing. So if this is 1/2, then what is this? Well, I see it only goes about halfway, so what is it? That's right, 1/2. How many halves do you think it will take to make 1/2? 2? Let's try it. You're right. 2/2 is the same as 1/2. Now, what fraction do you think this one is? This one seems to be half of a half. What fraction do you think it is? 1/4. That's right. So how many fourths do you think it will be to make 1/2 or 2/2? Did you say 4? Well, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3, 4. You were right. So 4/4 is the same as 2/2, which is the same as 1/2. Let's try one more. What do you think this one is? Did you say 1/8? Yes, 1/8. So how many of these do you think it will take to get all the way up to 1/2? 8? Well, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't. Way to go! I can't. Hey. Okay. So 8/8 is the same as 4/4, which is the same as 2/2, which is the same as 1 whole. Now there's a big math word for this: equivalent fractions. That means that these are all equal. And understanding equal fractions is really going to help us when we are adding fractions together. Watch, I'll show you. Let's move some of these out of the way. How many halves to make 1 whole? 2. So that means 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1 whole. We just added fractions. See? 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1, or 1 whole. So we can see how this other equation is wrong, because of course, if we put this 1/2 together with this 1/2, that is not the same as 1/4. So that is new. This is why it's so important to be able to see how these fractions work together. Once we can make the pictures of these fractions in our minds, it will help us to know how to add them. Let's try another one. How about 2/4, 1, 2, plus 1/4. Let's give that a try. 2/4 plus 1/4. Let's take the pieces and let's see how it goes. 2/4 plus 1 more 4th equals 3/4. 1, 2, 3. Let's write that down. 2/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. All right, let's try one more. What if we want to add 2/8 plus 2 more 8s? Now, how much is that all together? Well, we can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 8s. But let's go back to our equivalent or equal fractions. What are these 4 8s the same as? Is it the same as 1/4? No. Is it the same as 1 whole? No. What does it look the same as? 1/2. So, wow! Whoop! So, 2 8s plus 2 8s equals 4 8s, which is the same as 1/2. Now, here's the problem. These tools make adding fractions much easier, but I'm guessing you don't have a bunch of pool noodles sitting around your home. So what can we do? Well, I was looking around my home for things that had this same shape, and I found this empty roll of paper towel. This could be 1 whole. And look, if we cut it in 2, we get 2 halves. And the more rolls you have, the more fractions you can make. Now, your parents would have to give you some help with measuring and cutting, but when you're done, you'll have all the parts you need to do addition and subtraction of simple fractions. So on the Rose website, you'll see a few more fractions questions. Once you have all the materials you need, try answering them yourself. If you want, you can also use these same fractions to make subtraction questions, like what is 1 whole take away 1/4. Now, how can we figure this out? I mean, I can't pull 1/4 off of this whole. So how can I do it? Well, wait a minute. We saw that 1/2 is the same as 4/4. So what if I took my 4/4, 2, 3, 4, there, that's 1/2. Now let's solve the problem. 1/2 take away 1/4 is, right, 3/4. Great job. Well, that's it for me. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe summer, and I look forward to seeing all of you in September. Bye for now.